Hello everyone, it's Leo and it's time to talk about episode 29 from wonderful PreCure. This was really intense. Oh my god, this is peak PreCure. What an episode. So many things happened, so many new characters, so many new events, and even some explanations. So let's go. First of all, Nico-sama is here. The egg was breaking, it was shining, and everyone got together for the birth or the rebirth of our savior. And what I loved about that scene, first and foremost, the soundtrack. Shiho Terada keeps on killing it with the soundtrack from Hirogaru Sky, from Wonderful. It is amazing. It was brilliant. What a beautiful moment it was from the episode. I just loved it. We had then some pretty funny moments, obviously, with the seriousness of the situation. And then, basically, is that another Cure Butterfly reference? I'm joking, but obviously, Nico-sama doing the age age pose. Nico-sama feels like an idol. I love her. I love her so much. And I'm going to use female pronouns because that's how the subs are referring to Nico. I don't know if that's accurate to the original, but I do know the original does not have specific pronouns like that. But I'm going to use it just because the subs do. The subs on Crunchyroll, which are like the localization, the official localization of From Wonderful. And it was so funny because Nico was like this preppy girl, cute girl, doing poses and speaking in a cutesy voice. But at the same time, she was very strict because of the rules she set up for Mei, and Mei was breaking all the rules. And I also loved the fact that, like, Nico was very angry at Mei, but they were all defending Mei. Satoru was doing it. Iroha and Komugi were also doing it. It was lovely. And then they all presented themselves for Nico-sama. Mayu, all shy and scared of that new situation. Very cute to see her, you know, winning again against her fears and her shyness. I just loved it. It was so amazing. It was so adorable. And then Nico was very surprised that they became cures as well. They are the PreCures now. And we had another very funny scene when Mei was saying that Nico was very angry that Mei gave them the trunk. And then Mei said, because they're helping us with the Garu Garu stuff. And then she was like, oh, if that's the reason, that's fine. And there were lots of hearts above her. That was super lovely. And then after they presented themselves, a very important thing on that scene, Iroha told her that she wants to be friends with Nico. And obviously we had a situation, Mei saying that you can't say that casually to Nico-sama. You can't touch Nico's horns. But obviously for Nico, that's an okay thing, even though she is a little queen. I just love her already. But then that's a very important statement that Iroha made right at the start of the episode. I want to be friends with Nico-sama. And then what Nico wanted to do was go back to Nico Garden. They all went back to Nico Garden. Girl, Nico is a pop star. She was there with her mic saying hello to everyone. That was so random, but like so diva-ish that I love it. Nico is a diva through and through, at least in this first moment. And then she was, you know, sipping her tea. And it was very funny because Nico is very small. She is kind of like the same size of a kid-eating animal, I feel like. So she is very small, but since the camera is always so close on her, it feels like she is big. But then when it's like a full shot of every character, we can notice how Nico is small, and that's very strange. And so they started talking about what happened to Nico Garden. And well, the explanation was very simple. They were there enjoying themselves, and then Gao attacked. Gao attacked with lots of wolves Nico Garden, and then all of the Nico animals started turning into Garu Garus. Nico-sama used her powers and tried to turn them into eggs, but they became garu-garu eggs because Nico's powers were not enough. This is what Nico told them. Okay, so we don't know why Nico became an egg like we saw. We can guess it's probably because Nico used all her powers in trying to save the Nico animals, but we don't really know if that's the case. That's just a guess for now, but I feel like it's a good guess. And we do know that now things are better. All the kid eating animals are back. Nico Garden is back. Nico-sama is back. But while the girls were there chatting, they sensed an energy that was kind of like the garu-garus, but a little different. And now we go on to the other side of the story, which is Gao's story. Gao is there. We saw in a prior episode, I don't remember, 20-something, 24 maybe, the festival episode, the Tanabata episode. In that episode, we saw the Gao is there in a sanctuary. He is inside. And now he finally has enough power to summon 2 different creatures. But before he does that, he also says something very important. I don't remember the exact words, but he says that his anger will not be tamed. He will never let go of his anger. He is pissed off. He is angry. He does not want to forgive or forget what happened to him. And while we do not know what happened to Gao exactly, we do have a hunch, especially after we get to see the episode later on, because then he summons 2 of his minions, and we can finally meet generals for this season. It took us 29 episodes, but they finally arrived. They are here. Torame and Zakuro. Both of them are wolves from the Gao pack that were able to return to their glory because of Gao's power. But Gao still does not have his full power back. So he takes some steps back and tells them, "You're the ones that are going to fight for me." Another important thing about that is that he does not know what happened to the garu-garus. Gao does not seem to know what is going on with the cures, with the PreCure side of things. He turned the animals into garu-garus, and well, he thought that they were going to wreak havoc all around Animal Town. That's not what's really happening, but he does not know why. He questions himself, but he doesn't know why. And then we have those 2 new characters, Torame and Zakuro. Zakuro, girl, she is such a diva. I love her. But she feels really like Shindoine from Healing Good PreCure. She's in love with Gao. She loves him. She's crazy about him. And we also have Torame, a smaller general who seems to be full of energy. I love their designs, and I also love their voices. I also love Gao's design. And it feels like they're going for their 3 primary colors for the villains: blue, red, and yellow. Very nice designs. Oh my god, they're incredible. And so when the cures sense the garu-garu, they try to search. They come back to Animal Town. They try to search for the garu-garu, but the egg is found by Torame and Zakuro. First, we have our first summoning animation of the season. Girl, it's incredible. It's so pretty. I love it. We have Torame summoning. We don't see Zakuro yet. I hope not next week, but 2 weeks from now we see Zakuro summoning. I hope so. And then we have a new monster. It's not garu-garu anymore. It's Gao-gaon. And they are a stronger version of a garu-garu because they use the garu-garu egg and infuse it with even more power. When they see that, the cures appear. I mean, the girls appear. And one important thing is that both Komugi and Yuki stayed as animals for the whole episode, and they only became humans in this specific scene. I feel like this plays out a very important role. They become humans and then they transform into cures. The first thing is that Nico is shocked. She is really impressed with this fact. But not only that, before the fight begins, before the action begins, after transforming, Torame and Zakuro look at them and see animals with humans in harmony, transforming together, sharing a strong bond together. That, for them, is weird. And while we do not know what actually happened to them, we have some hints in past episodes, most specifically the Tanabata episode. In that episode, we learned that there was a pack of wolves, or a specific type of wolf, the Japanese wolf. It got extinct because the humans drove them to extinction. And well, now we do know Torame and Zakuro and Gao, they were part of a pack of wolves who were driven to extinction by humans. And so for them to see animals and humans coexisting like that is really weird. And not weird, I feel like weird is not the word. It is for them a disgrace. What caused their extinction? For other animals, it is a good thing. It's really understandable. Their feelings are really understandable. And so Torame looks at them and says, why are you with humans? And so Cure Wonderful starts sharing how good it is being with a human, being friend with a human. It is, as she says, wonderful. But for them, it's completely different. And then we have Zakuro sharing what happened to them. And then she tells the story that I just said. And so it is a shock for the Cures, most specifically for Cure Wonderful and Cure Friendly. Because for them, their bond is stronger than anything. They don't want anything else apart from their bond and, being happy with other animals and other humans. That is Iroha's motto in the show. I want to be friends with every animal. And not only animals, she also wants to be friends with the humans. She wants to be friends with anyone. And so not only they have this clash of philosophy, Zakuro gets really angry. You can see it in her face, the disgust in her face. She is pissed off because she cannot stand the idea of having humans and animals coexisting. And so the Gaogaon attacks. And the Gaogaon has a technique that he multiplies. It multiplies into multiple Gaogaons. And then the Cures were having a very hard time. We have Torame interacting with Cure Friendly a little bit. And then we have Cure Wonderful trying to protect herself from the Gaogaon, being saved by Cure Friendly. And then we have Cure Nyami trying to fight the Gaogaon as well. We have Cure Lillian escaping and then bumping into Zakuro, and Zakuro teasing her a little. Girl, I love that scene. Can I say I love Zakuro already? She's amazing. She's everything. She's so pretty. Girl, I love her. And then we have the Cures trying to use their duo techniques, Friendly Berare and Amity Lumiere. None of them work in the Gaogaons. And the Gaogaons end up beating the Cures. One kick was enough to detransform them. Ooh, girl. And as Torame says, oh, they're so weak. And that's not a lie. I'm not even going to try to defend the wonderful Cures here and the wonderful Cures here. That is not a lie. That's way too easy. But that's what wonderful is in terms of fighting skills. And so they get detransformed. And when the Gaogaons are ready to attack them one more time to, defeat them in their civilian and animal forms, they're called back by Gao. And we don't exactly know why. But it's kind of easy to understand because when the Cures transform, they say their names and cure something. Both Torame and Zakuro look at them and say, PreCure? What is that? They don't know what PreCures are. For them, this is a new concept. This is a new thing. And so when they were alive back then, the concept of a PreCure did not exist. Well, it's simple because they were driven off by humans themselves. And so the concept of a PreCure does not exist. So they just defeated them very easily. They in their mind, they know that PreCures are not a threat because that's what they just saw, right? And so they leave and the cures are left alone. During the whole action scene, Nico was just watching. She did not even speak. It felt like she was speechless. She could not say a word. She was stoned, astonished. That's the word, right? Astonished. Stoned is something else. She was astonished. And then we have the resolution of this episode, which it's very PreCure. Iroha is there, down on her knees. She is desolated. She wants to be friends with all the animals, but she, as a human, is the same as the one that caused the extinction of an animal. Yuki even says, the ones who caused the extinction are already dead. They're not you. But Satoru comes in saying that for the wolves, it's the same thing. They're humans, just like the ones that killed them years ago, years and years and years ago. For them, what's the difference? And Iroha, in her mind, it starts to sink in. Humans can make bad actions. Humans can be awful. Humans can be killers. And that goes against all of her philosophy. How is she going to be friends with animals that were so traumatized by humans? Gao said earlier in the episode that there is no way to silence his anger. How is Iroha going to do that? And I love it for a couple of reasons. It creates a big tension. This is the biggest tension we've ever had in Wonderful PreCure. And also, this is the first time we have a tension towards Iroha's character that is not related to her relationship with Komugi and her, that was resolved easily. Now it's her worldview that is being put to question. How is she going to hold up to that based on everything she saw today? How is it going to be for her? And her character was desperately needing it. And I feel like the biggest moment of the season is for her. The setup is good enough. Let's see how it's going to be resolved next week. One interesting thing I want to say is that it is very, very hard to make an argument against the animals in this case, against the wolves in this case. It's very hard to look at Gao and say he's wrong. Very hard. At the same time, will he give himself another chance? Will he give Iroha a chance? Will the villains give Iroha a chance? Villains. I find it very hard to see them as villains. Even though they're kind of torturing animals, it's hard to see them as villains. How are things going to play out from now on? Seeing that Gao, Torame, and Zakuro, they have a great point on their side. What can they do to change the situation? I'm very curious to see where Wonderful PreCure will lead us. Because next week, things will continue and Iroha will put her philosophy to test. She wants to befriend everybody. Does that include the newfound enemies? Surely it does. But how is she going to get through to them? Well, we have kind of like 20 episodes to go, so she still has a lot of time for that. And a new power is probably going to be born. I cannot wait to see it. Episode 30, you cannot come sooner. Anyways, babies, this was my view on episode 29 from Wonderful PreCure. Very interesting moments happening. Girl, this is just making me more and more excited for the future of this season, which is being a bless. Yoshimi Narita, you are killing it with the writing in Wonderful. I love it. Anyways, babies, this is it for now. Let's take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you're a member, I really, really thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your support. If you're a member here on YouTube, if you're a member on Patreon, if you are someone who supports me on Throne, thank you very, very much for your support. And if you've watched up until now, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.